Now, yesterday we have seen different things actually. So we have seen how the people used to deploy the applications in physical servers, and we have also seen what are the disadvantages that we have if we deploy our applications on the physical servers, and we have seen how the virtualization software is evolved, virtualization things are evolved, and what are the advantages in evolving the virtualization software, what we are going to get if we install virtualization software in the physical machine. And once the virtualization machines are created, if we deploy our applications on the virtual machines, what are the disadvantages that we have, resource wastage and the microservice evolution. So because of that reason, how the Docker is evolved, and how the Docker is structured in the virtual machines actually. So we also see the AWS account creation, how to log into that AWS account, and we have seen what is DevOps, SDLC process, different things we have seen. Now, today what we are going to see is about the remaining things actually. Let me share my screen before going further. Let me share that. Let me go here. Okay, let me clear this. Now, I hope my screen is also visible. Now, what we are going to see today is the how to create an EC2 machine and how to log into the EC2 machine. EC2 machine, we call it as virtual servers. Yesterday, we have seen in the diagrammatic way, like what's a virtual server, how it is structured inside the physical server. But we are going to create a virtual machine or virtual server today, and we will be installing Docker in it, and we are going to see the different terminologies that is included in the Docker. And if the time permits, we are also going to see the Docker architecture. Okay, that's all the agenda for today. Now, what we are going to do now is we are going to go to the switch to the AWS account. So once you logged into the AWS account here, let me log out and log in from the scratch so that you people will be understanding in clear way. So let me log out from here. So this is the screen when it will be getting if you go to Amazon, aws.amazon.com, okay, /console. Now, once you go here, okay, this is something called API that we call it as. Okay, now once you go here, click on sign into the console. Do not modify this. Go just check box the root user only. Do not go to the IAM user as of now, because yeah, you are going to create a first time, right, our AWS account. That's the thing. Now, once you go to there, you need to enter the password which you have chosen for when you are registering the account. Just click on sign in. Okay, this is a AWS management console where you can visualize all the services that is given to us by the AWS cloud provider. And the important thing that you need to look for the cost and the usage section here. When you log into the console, you will be finding the cost and usage section, how much amount of bill that has been generated for you in the last month, current month, and average thing, something like that. You need to regularly check this, whether is there any cost for the services I'm using in the AWS account, and for what services, total top cost. You can see for this service it is costing this much, for this service it is costing this much, something like that. Okay, now you need to regularly check the cost usage here in this console. Okay, once you logged in once, yeah. Now, after you logging into the AWS console, you search for EC2. You will be finding here recently visited, but if you don't find that one there, EC2, you search for in the search box, you click on this EC2 service, which will come to us. So this is the EC2 dashboard. Okay, this is EC2 service. Actually, AWS consists of combination of services actually. So these are the different services that we have. So EC2, there are many services, but we are going to use a few of them. But yeah, now once you search for EC2, go into that EC2 service, and once you went into the EC2 service, in the left hand menu, there will be a big menu in the left hand. So left side, that means to say, so this side, you will be finding something called key pairs. There's a key pairs you will be finding under the network and security section. There's a network and security section. I hope it's visible. So inside the network and security section, you will be finding the key pairs. So click on this key pairs. Okay, once you click on the key pairs, as for me here, it is one key pair is shown here, but in your case there will not be any key pairs. Okay, there will be empty key pairs here. Okay, now just you should click on key pair, create a key pair button here. Just click on it, and you need to give a key pair a name, test. Just give a name, it called test, or any name you can give, whatever it is. Okay, now do not modify any other things here, just click on create a key pair. Just click on create a key pair. It will download a file, something called temp file, that will get downloaded, that contains secret. Keep that file in a safe place, so that yeah, it will be. See why this key pair is required first, why this key pair is required. So let me show you in a diagram. Okay, one second. So why this key pair is required? This is our virtual machine. So we need to install Docker. We need to perform the Docker related things, right? For that, you need to go inside this virtual machine. You need to visit this virtual machine. You should go inside this virtual machine. So key pair is kind of a password in order to enter into the virtual machine or the EC2 machine. Actually, that's a key pair. So just create a key pair, and that will download a file for you and say put that in a safe place. Okay, that's a key pair creation that you need to do first before creating a virtual machines. Actually, once the key pair is created, now go to the instances section. In the left hand menu, you will be finding the instances. So once in the instances section, so as of now the 3 instances are showing for me, but in your case there will be no instances, because you have created the account for the first time, right? So there will be no any instances. EC2 machines, virtual servers, all are same actually. So that's the thing. Now you need to create a launch instance. Click on launch instance, give a instance a name. Let me give instance name called Docker. Okay, I want to use Ubuntu operating system. That's, you can use whatever operating system. I want to use Ubuntu. Just I also suggest you to use Ubuntu. Okay, because the commands which I provide in your document will be belongs to Ubuntu. Just click on Ubuntu. Now see here, now just do not modify anything. In the instance type section, there is a different types of instances means virtual machines. So if you select t2.micro, that means you are going to get, your virtual machine is going to get 1 CPU and 1 GB memory. And if you, this is free tier 1. Okay, this is free tier 1. If you select this one, that is free for some time. Okay, so that's the one. If you use this t2.small instance type, that means it gets one CPU and 2 GB memory. So that's chargeable, something like it is not a free type. It not does not come under free type. So depending on the capacity, 2 CPUs and 4 GB memory. So depending on the things, you can choose the instance type. Actually, I want to choose t2.medium because I want to run many containers. For your practice, you can also choose the different instance type. T2.micro also you can choose, no problem with that. Okay, now I am using t2.medium. Okay, I'm using t2.medium. For this t2.medium, what are the, how many CPUs I am getting? 2 CPUs I am getting, 4 GB memory I am getting for this t2.medium instance type. Now once that instance type you selected, now go down, go to the bottom, you will be finding something called key pairs, which you created in the previous step. That will be displayed here. As of not created, I have already there key pair with me, so that I'm using that key pair. For in your case, the key pair which you created in the earlier thing, that will be shown here. Just click on that key pair, just select that key pair. Okay, that's it. Okay, now in the network section, network settings, what you need to do, you need to select this existing security group. Just select this and select the default security group. And now this is a network settings that you need to do. And the configuration storage, you need to configure a storage. I want to use 10 GB 10 GB I want to use as storage. I want to assign this to my virtual machine. Now we have different types of storages like GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2. See, these are all AWS things, but yeah. Now I am selecting this GP2 only. That's a default one, right? Now here in the right hand, that's the thing you need to do. In the left side, actually in the right side, there will be something called a number of instances. So you need to select how many number of instances you want to launch. That means how many number of virtual machines you want to launch. That is, I want to launch only one virtual machine, so that is why I am selecting one here. Okay, now click on launch instance. Now your instances will be launched. Actually, now go here. Now you can see Docker is being launched. The instance is being going to create, actually. So that's the thing. Okay, okay, can you please zoom in? Okay, sure, Mahendra, one second please. uh Let me zoom in. Yeah, I hope it's okay now. Okay, now it's is being created now. Just I want to search for running status, just all states not running. Okay, now it is in running state. You can see instance state is in running state. Actually, instance state is in running state, and in it status check, you also need to check the status check. It should tell something like 2 by 2 health checks passed, so something like that. Let's wait until that time. It will take some 1 or 2 minutes, so complete that. 1 second, it will take that time. Let us wait. It's initializing still. Yeah, you can see now 2 by 2 checks passed. That means it is performing the checks, actually health checks. So that means it is passed now. Now, once it is passed, once you see it is in running state or 2 by 2 health checks passed, now click on this checkbox of that instance and click on connect here. Just here we have something called connect. Just click on connect. There are many options for you to use actually, but I want to use easy to instance connect. By default, it will be selected. And once that one, you just click on connect here. So there are many ways in order to connect to your instance. Actually, you can use putty or whatever it is you can use from your local machine with the PIM file. So but I am showing you the common way for everyone. Okay, these are way who can connect to the instance. Everyone can able to connect to the instance with this way. Now just click on connect. Okay. Mm. Now, this is the instance. This is a virtual machine I have get connected to sudo su hyphen. Let me clear the screen. Okay. Now, this is the virtual machine I have connected to, and I have switched to the root user. That means hash here represents root user that will have entire permissions that you can perform in this virtual machine. You can see here something called root. Okay, something like that. Now, I have collected all the commands to install Docker and make your job simple. So these are all the different commands to install Docker. Just copy one by one in this file. Just it's an installation commands installing a Docker. That's it. Now just copy one by one. After switching to root user, just run those commands one by one. That's it. Okay. Let me put it here and let me copy it here. Control A, Control C, and I need to put it here. Now let me copy this, remove this, Control V, Control A, Control C, and let me put it here. Okay, now what's the different command that we have? This is the one other command, copy and put it here, Control A, Control C, and let me go here and put it here. It is being created, and let me copy this sudo update -y, update the packages. Now let me go here, apt cache docker ce. Now after that, you just install the Docker community edition. It's getting installed. Now, this is the Docker installation. Once installed, you need to check whether the Docker is properly running in this virtual machine or not. How to check whether the Docker is properly running in this virtual machine? System ctl status docker. Okay, docker, this is a command you need to execute in the once again someone put something in chat. Do we need to install every time we connect to the ec2 machine? No, you no need of installing every time you connect to the ec2 machine. If your ec2 machine is in still running state, when you see, always if you create a EC2 machine, okay, you need to install that one. If you are not creating always the EC2 machine, you no need of install. If you can use the same EC2 machine always, you no need of installing always Docker. Okay, so that's the thing. Now let me come out of this. 1 second. Let me refresh the screen. Now sudo su hyphen. Let me clear the screen. Okay, now docker I can now execute the docker commands. You can see docker images. You can see I am executing the docker image, docker commands. Now we have installed Docker, we have created a virtual machine, we have created a key pairs, we have logged into the virtual machine, and we have installed Docker inside the virtual machine. Now it's time to discuss about the different terminologies that we have in case of Docker. Actually, now let's go to Paint and let me remove all these things. You need to understand the terminologies that we are going to use in Docker so that the concepts will be clear, very clear actually. Let me put this one here. And first terminology that we have, you need to understand the Docker host. So what is Docker host? Docker host, actually, what is Docker host? Why we call it as Docker host? The machine on which, the virtual machine on which the Docker is running, the virtual machine on which the Docker is running is called Docker host actually. Now this virtual machine, my Docker is running. That's why this machine is called Docker host actually. This machine is called Docker host. So the machine that, let me put that sentence here. Okay, the machine on which the Docker is running is Docker host. Docker host. Okay, that's a Docker host that we call it as. Second terminology that you need to know is Docker daemon. Okay, Docker daemon. Okay, daemon. Okay, what is Docker daemon? Okay, what is Docker daemon? Suppose in the operating system terminology, what is a daemon? Just forget about the Docker daemon. What's a daemon? Daemon is nothing but a background process which is running inside the machine, that is called a daemon. Okay, daemon is nothing but a background process in that is running actually is called a daemon. Which, see, that is a daemon actually. In the Docker as well, there is some process, there is a background process that is running inside the Docker host actually, that is called Docker daemon actually. The background process, you can see the process here, you can see, verify the process, what the process is running. Systemctl status, systemctl status Docker. You can see a background process is running, a application started, Docker application container engine, a process is running in the background, that is called Docker daemon actually, that is called Docker daemon. Okay, let me clear the screen, this one. Okay, let me put that one here. The background, the process that is running is Docker daemon. Okay, that is the Docker daemon. You need, and the third terminology that you need to understand is Docker image. See, what is a Docker image? Suppose if you want to download any, if you want to play any game, if you want to play any game, what you will be doing is you will be downloading a software, okay, .exe file from your internet, and you will be double clicking on that game, and that will be game in that then you can play a game, particular game, right? So what the .exe file contains, which you downloaded from the internet, it contains the game but not in running state. Once you double click that .exe file only, the game will be started, and that game, you can play that game. The file which you downloaded is called a binary, we call it as. The file which you downloaded from the internet in order to play a game is called a binary. Here also, in the same, that applies to this Docker also. The same, what is a Docker image? Docker image is a binary in which our application will be present. but not in the running state. Okay, our application will be there in the Docker image, but that will not be in running state. Actually, that is a Docker image. Okay, that's a Docker image. It's a binary. It's a binary or a static file or uh, static binary where our application will be present but not in running state. Actually, that's a Docker image that we call it as. That's a Docker image. Now the fourth terminology that you need to understand is Docker container. Docker container. Actually, so what is a Docker container? What is a Docker container? The running, see that file you downloaded, the game, the file that belongs to a game you downloaded from the internet, right? So once you double click on that file, then that file will be in running state. That means you can play the game, right? In the same way, if you need to convert this Docker image as into a running state. Okay, this Docker image into a running state, that is called a container. That is called a container, in which inside the container our application will be in running state. Actually, okay, in a regular day, what is a container? A container it's a physical thing in which we can ship our goods from one place to another place, right? In the same way, in the case of Docker is the Docker container consists of our application that will be in running state. Actually, Docker container consists of our application that will be in running state. What is the difference between Docker image and the Docker container? Is Docker image, our application will be there but not in the running state, but the Docker container, our application will be in running state. Actually, so that's a Docker container, in which our application will be in running state. Actually, that is Docker container. Now the fifth terminology that you need to understand is Docker client. Okay, Docker client. Okay, what is a Docker client? The place where you are executing the Docker commands is called Docker client. Actually, here this is called my Docker client. This I'm executing the Docker commands here, Docker images. This terminal is called the terminal of my machine. Docker host is called Docker client. Actually, so the place where we execute Docker commands is Docker client. Actually, that is a Docker client. Now the next terminology that you need to understand is Docker registry. What is Docker registry? Docker registry. Okay, what is Docker registry? Docker registry is a place where we store the Docker images. Docker registry is the place. No, Docker daemon. Does Docker daemon run in a container? No, Docker daemon will not be running in a container. Docker daemon will be running inside the Docker host virtual machine. That will not be running inside the container. Okay, that's a thing. Now, Docker registry. What is a Docker registry? Docker registry is a place where we store the Docker images. Okay, where we store the Docker images. Actually, that is Docker registry. The place where we store Docker images is Docker registry. Okay, there are two types of Docker registries that are available. So first type of Docker registry is the public Docker registry. Okay, Docker registry. This is a public Docker registry. If you store your application image in this public Docker registry, that is available to everyone in the world. Anyone in the world can be able to download that image, can be able to use that image if you store that image in the public Docker registry. And the second image is the private Docker registry. Private, one sec, please. Yeah, private, one second. private Docker registry. Actually, if you store your Docker image into private Docker registry, that means the image which you store in the private Docker registry will be only accessible by you or your organization who has the access to that registry only. They will be only able to access the images that are present, Docker images that are present inside that registry. Actually, that is the private Docker registry. So there are many other terminologies, Docker volumes and Docker networking, but we will see when that concepts has come into picture. So as of now, you need to understand, before starting the Docker, you need to understand these terminologies. One is Docker host. What is Docker host? The place, the where we install Docker is called Docker. The virtual machine on which we install Docker is called Docker host. Okay, whether if you install your Docker in your local machine is called Docker host. That's it. Okay, now Docker daemon, a background process that is running inside the Docker host, is called Docker daemon. Okay, what's a Docker image? It's a binary or static binary where our application will be present but not in the running state. Actually, what is Docker container? In which our application will be running state. Actually, so in which our application will be running. Actually, now what is Docker client? The place where we execute the Docker commands is called Docker client. And the Docker registry public, there are two types of Docker registry. The place where we store the Docker images is called Docker registry. There are two types of Docker registries. One is public Docker registry, other one is private Docker registry. If you store your images in the public Docker registry, that means your images will be able to used by anyone in the world. If you store your images in the private Docker registry, that means your images will be able to used by you or who your organization or who has the access to that private Docker registry can only use that images that are stored in the private Docker registry. Actually, so that's are the terminologies that you need to understand as of now. So any questions anyone has for now, please? Any questions anyone has? Anyone have any questions before going further? Or
So
is that,
everything is based,
yeah, go ahead.
everything that you mentioned here is based on individual machine or a virtual machine, excepting Docker registry where we are going to the public portal or a cloud, right?
Yes, everything is based on a particular machine, yes, except the Docker registry.
Okay. I mean, when you say Docker client, I mean,
Mhm.
eventually everything has to be done in the client only, right? I
Yes,
mean,
from where, yeah. Mhm.
once the container is running up and running, then
Uh-huh.
the application has to be, anything that we want to run inside the container has to be managed through the client only.
Yes, that's a Docker client. Yes, you are right.
Okay. I mean, what I was saying about it is implicit that without the client we cannot do anything. So,
Yeah, that's what I need to understand. So that's a client where yeah, you are right. It's an implicit one.
okay.
Yeah, anyone have any questions, please? If no questions, put no in chat. If you have any questions, please ask. Do any of this, please. Okay. Yeah. What about the remaining, please? Please put the no or ask. Anyone, please? Anyone? Yeah, give some response so that I will be understanding whether you understood or not. Okay. So if you did not understand, I will be explain one more time. Use the user sessions. Uh, that's what I mean to say. But yeah, now if no questions, what we are going to see further, we are going to move further with the Docker architecture. Okay, now we have installed Docker, we have seen the terminologies that we have, and we will be seeing the Docker architecture now. Okay, now let me put it here. 1 second. Docker architecture. This is the Docker architecture. that we are going to see. Now, in the Docker architecture, as I've already mentioned, there are components. Okay. Now there will be a component called Docker client. This is a Docker client that we call it as, and there is a Docker host. This is the Docker host, and there is another component that is Docker registry. That may be a public one or the private one. Okay. Now inside the Docker, let me name them so that it will be clear for you people. Docker client, and this is the Docker host. Docker host, and this is the Docker registry. 1 second. Okay, this is a Docker registry where we store our Docker images. So these are the three different things. These are three different components now. Now, inside the Docker host, there will be a Docker daemon will be running. This is a Docker daemon that will be running inside the Docker host, right? We have already discussed about this. This is Docker daemon. Okay, this is Docker daemon that we call it as. Now, this is a Docker registry, this is a Docker host, this is a Docker client, this is a Docker daemon. Now what we are going to do is let's execute some commands, clear the screen. Now Docker images. What this Docker images command lists for us is it lists all the images that are present on my Docker host. As of now, there are no Docker images present on my Docker host. That is why it is not giving. It's empty thing. It's empty thing here. What is happening when you execute some particular command in the Docker client? Actually, what is happening? Let's discuss in the diagram. Now I have executed Docker images from the Docker client. This is where I have executed Docker. Let me remove bold. Docker images. I have executed this command. Now when I execute this command, what internally happened? Actually, what internally happened, this command is being listened by our Docker daemon. Our Docker daemon listened to this command, and Docker daemon is responsible for doing the functionality, for satisfying our request. Actually, now what is our request? To list all the images. Now Docker daemon has understood that request that we have sent, and it will list all the images present on my Docker host. As of now, there are no images present on my Docker host. There, let me put something like that here. Images. There are, as of now, there are empty images present. There are no images present on my Docker host, and the Docker daemon given us, there are no image, something like this. There is no image present on my Docker host. Let me pull particular image. Let me download a particular image from the Docker hub. Actually, like, you need to understand first Docker hub. Yeah, what is a Docker hub? Docker hub is a Docker registry where you store the images, where the images will be there. Actually, hub.docker.com. Okay, this is something called public Docker registry. Public Docker registry where we store our Docker images. You need to first create an account here. You need to create an account. Some of the images were given, some of the Docker images were given to us. You can use that Docker images. But if you want to push your own images, you need to create an account. Click on sign up. You need to give your email address, username, and password. You need to click on sign up. Okay, once you clicked on sign up, you need to log into the console. Okay, once you clicked on sign up, just click on login. Yeah, I have logged into my console. These are the different Docker images that I have in my Docker registry. Now, how to pull? See, there are, if you want to find any Docker image, click on explore and go to, I want to find Nginx image, go to search for Nginx. There will be an Nginx image present in this Docker registry. Actually, this is a public registry who everyone able to see this. Everyone will be able to see this. Now, how to download this Nginx image is you need to use docker pull command. Docker, where is that? Easy to mention. Yeah, docker pull is the command to download an image. Nginx. I want to download this. Okay, let it download it. Yeah, it will. These are something called layers. We are going to discuss as part of creating custom Docker images. But as of now, just yeah, now See, it has downloaded a image actually named Nginx. Okay, now Docker. Now, if you see Docker images, if you see there is an image named Nginx that has been downloaded. Now, what happened when we executed Docker pull Nginx? What happened internally? Now, what? Let me show in the architecture diagram. Now we have executed here from the Docker client. What we have executed is Docker pull in nginx. We have executed this command from the Docker client. Now this command which we executed from the Docker client is listened by the Docker daemon, is listened by the Docker daemon. And what it does actually, when you try to pull any nginx image, it will first check in the Docker host actually whether that nginx image is there or not, or shall I pull one more time? Okay, it will first check it here actually. If the image is not present here in the Docker host, it will try to connect to the Docker registry. It will connect to the Docker registry, and it will find the Docker image there named Nginx actually. Nginx image is present in the Docker registry, and this image will be downloaded to the Docker host Nginx. Okay, this will be getting downloaded to the Docker host, that will be performed by the Docker daemon. Okay, that will be performed by the Docker daemon, something like it will getting downloaded by the Docker daemon. Okay, to the our Docker host. That is how that internally happened when you executed Docker pull nginx command. It connected to the Docker registry and downloaded that nginx image to our Docker host. Now this is how it functions. Now let us run another command. Okay, let us run another command. Now let us run how to run a particular image as a container. If you see Docker images, we have this images. How to run this image as a Docker container? Now how to run that? Docker run hyphen name is equal to, I want to give the name to the container web app. Just as of now I'm giving -d, that is a detached mode. Just do not mind. We'll it's not time to discuss about the detached mode. We'll see in further classes. Now hyphen name is equal to web app -d, and you need to give the image name. Actually, give the image name. That's the nginx is the image name. So you need to understand this. This Docker is a binary where we are executing. This run is a, you want to run image as a container, and you are giving the name to that container, and you are executing in the detached mode, and nginx is the image name that you want to run as a container. And that's how you need to use actually. Now let me execute. Let me click on enter. That image is executed as a container. Now now if you see Docker container ls, if you want to list all the running containers, you can use Docker container ls command. That will list all the running containers on your Docker host. Actually, see, this is just now we have executed that one as a container, and that is executing as a container, that is running as a container. You can see the created 12 seconds ago. This is a command that is part of the Docker file that we are going to see. You can see it's created 12 seconds ago. Status up is 11 seconds ago. What are the ports that is run application inside this container is running on is port number EIT. What is the name of the container is web app, and what is the image we are going to use is nginx, and the container, each and every container will be having some container ID. This is that container ID that we have for this actually. So that's a different things that we have. Now what happened when you run this container, when you execute this command on my Docker client? Let me go to the architecture diagram and let me show you people. So this we have executed. What we have executed, Docker run hyphen name is equal to web app and -d one second, nginx. We have executed this command. Let me increase this one. So we have executed this command on my Docker client. What internally happened, this command which I have executed on the Docker client is listened by the Docker daemon, and it Docker daemon first check whether this nginx image is present on the Docker host or not. Yeah, it has found the nginx image is present on the Docker host, and that Docker daemon used this nginx image and executed as a container. This is the nginx container. Now this is the nginx web app. The name of the container is web app. Actually, Docker daemon did that for us. It has used, Docker daemon has used this Nginx image, and that has executed for as a container. Actually, no, this is the Nginx image that is used and executed as a container, something like this. Actually, Docker daemon did that for us. Okay, now this is how the Docker daemon is functioning as of now. But if you see the Docker images, if you see Docker images in our Docker host, you can see only one image has been there actually. But I want to run a Docker container with the image called Tomcat. Tomcat is another application. There's another image that we have. Let me give the name as Tom actually. So I want to run another image with the as a container with the name Tom actually. So I want to run this, but if you see, this image is not present on my Docker host. This Tomcat image is not present on my Docker host. In this case, what will happen? I clicked on enter. Okay, let it complete. Okay. Now, if you see Docker container ls, if you see the Tom container is running with the Tomcat image. Now when you execute this command, see this image is not present previously. This, if you see Docker images, only Nginx image is present in my Docker host. But if the image which is not present previously on my Docker host, if you execute the container with that image, what happened actually? Now let me show you people in the architecture diagram. So let me put it here. Docker Docker run hyphen name is equal to Tom, and what we have did is hyphen d Tomcat. We have executed this command. Actually, let me differentiate this so that people will be understanding. 1 second, let me differentiate these commands. This is one command, and this is one command, and these two are different commands. This is the one, and this is the other one. Okay, these are the different commands. We have executed this command here, docker run hyphen name hyphen dtom. That image is not present on my Docker host. Now this command which we have executed is listened by our Docker daemon, is listened by our Docker daemon. Now it has checked first whether that image, Tomcat image, is present on my Docker host or not. It did not find the image on my Docker host. Now what it did is it again connected to the Docker registry, it again connected to Docker registry, and it has found the Tomcat image. The Tomcat image will be there. Tomcat image will be there, and it has downloaded the Tomcat image to my local, that means Docker host. It has downloaded the Tomcat image to the Docker host. Actually, this is a Tomcat image that got downloaded. Tomcat image that got downloaded, and it using this Tomcat image, the Docker daemon executed a container, okay, like this. 1 second, let me put this one here, and its name what we have given is Tom. Okay, Tom we have given. So in this manner, the functions will happen. Actually, the functionalities will happen. So whatever we are requesting, whatever we type, the commands from the Docker client, Docker daemon will listen that. Actually, Docker daemon is a heart of Docker, and it will perform the necessary action that is requested by us from the Docker client. Actually, so that is the Docker architecture, which consists of these many components: Docker client, Docker daemon, Docker host, and Docker registry, and different things actually. So any questions anyone has regarding Docker architecture? Anyone have any questions, please? Okay, okay. No, okay, okay, okay. Anyone, any questions, please? Please reply, please reply. Okay. Yeah, if no questions, you need to understand the tags concept now. You need to understand the tags concept. Okay, you need to understand the tags concept. Suppose you have deployed an application into your production server as of now today. Okay, today, and you have updated the application, tomorrow you updated the application and written some extra code into that application, and you want to deploy that updated application in uh, to the production servers today, actually, again, okay, tomorrow. Okay, now the first application, previous application is called version v1. Okay, the second application is called the updated application with the new code you updated is called version v2. Here v1 and v2, different versions of the same application, is nothing but tags. Okay, nothing but tags. Now in the Docker, we have different tags for our Docker images. If you see, go to hub.docker.com. If you click on Nginx, you can see that there are, go to tags section here. You can see there are different versions of the Nginx application is there, actually. So these are called different tags and different versions of the same application. Okay, different versions of the same application. So that is Nginx application. So that is tags, actually. So this is overview. You can supported tags and responsive Docker files links, and these are the something things you will be able to find the information about the Docker image. You will be able to find the information about that particular Docker image. But if you go to the EC2 machine, if you type Docker images, if you type Docker images, you will be finding the image name, that's a Tomcat, and what is a tag that got downloaded, that is a latest, and each and every image will be having the image ID, and when it is created 13 days ago, that means it has been created in the Docker registry 13 days ago. And this is important, the size of the Docker image, that is 455 MB of size. 455 MB of size. This image has 455 MB of size, and this Nginx image has 187 MB of size. Now if you want to pull the image of another tag, there are different tags, right? Here we have different tags. See, this is another tag. Just let me copy this. If you want to pull the image of another tag, you need to use docker pull nginx colon tag name. Okay, you need to pull that like this. Actually, you should give the image name colon tag name. If you don't give the colon tag name in the end of the, while pulling the Docker image to your Docker host, that means it will pull the latest version of the image. Actually, the tag latest, the image with the latest tag will be downloaded if you do not provide any version thing while pulling the Docker image. So let's download this Docker image. Just click on enter. You can see pulling from binary, no matching manifest file Linux admin. So this only supports AMD 64 version of Linux. So mine will be different version. So let me pull another STABLE hyphen Perl is the another version of Nginx that we have. You can see that, yeah, it is getting downloaded. So I have different architecture on my Linux machine. This image I have tried to download mainline hyphen OTEL, that will be only supported in AMD 64 architecture of the Linux machine. But as of now, this is not this Linux machine, or this is Docker host, it does not follow this architecture. So that is why we are unable to pull this image, this version of the Nginx image. And if you use the different version stable hyphen Perl, if you go here and if you search for the filter tags, you can see that version, this stable hyphen version, you can find this version can be downloaded to AMD 64. This version can be downloaded to Linux like 386 architecture and ARM also. See, there are 5 more. Okay, you can download this version of the in different architectures of the Linux machines. So that is why, that's a thing. Okay, that's why, that's if you want to download any particular version of that particular image, actually you need to give the tag of that version here. Now, how to do that? Docker images. If you see now Docker images, you can see the Nginx image with the latest tag is there, and the Nginx image with the stable-perl tag is there. This is a different version of the Docker image. Actually, you can see you can differentiate the sizes also. Here, the same Nginx image with the latest tag is having 187 MB of size. Same Nginx image with the different tag will be is having 189 MB of size. So depending on the functionality that images provides to us, the size will be different. The size will be different for the different images that the functionality provided to us actually. So you need to create an account in this. You need to create an account in this. Okay, we are in the future, we are going to push our images that we create from our applications to your Docker registries. So you need to create an account here. So I have already told you how to create an account in this actually. So that's the thing. So these are the things actually. Now using this command, let me go here. Now when you use docker container ls, so Docker container ls will be only showing the running containers. See how you can define these are containers are running. You can see the status. If that is up represents that container is in running state actually. Now let me stop one of the container. You can see how to stop a particular container is docker stop container id. You need to give this container id. This container got stopped actually. Now when you execute docker container ls, you can see this command docker container ls command will show only the running containers. Okay, only the running containers. You can see what is a port on which the tomcat image, right? This container is using tomcat image. So on what port this tomcat container will be in running? The tomcat application will be running on port number 8080. And you can see the docker container ls command will only show us the running containers, okay, but not the stopped containers. How to view the stopped and the running containers is docker container ls -a. So if you use -a represents all. Okay, now docker container ls -a will show us the running containers and the stopped containers or the exited containers. All the containers will be shown to us if you use okay, with the docker container ls actually. So these are the things you need to understand. And what are the different things that we have seen today is we have created a logged into the AWS console. We have checked how to view the cost usage inside the AWS account, and we have created a key pair, and we have created a virtual machine. I have shown you different settings that are involved in creating a virtual machine. So like selecting the operating system, selecting the instance type, selecting the key pair that we created, selecting the security group, selecting the different number of instances. Okay, these are selecting storage. So these are all the different things we need to consider while creating a EC2 machine. And we have launched an EC2 machine, and we have logged in to the EC2 machine, and we have switched to the root user, and we have installed the Docker. And once the Docker is installed, we have checked whether the Docker daemon is properly running inside the Docker machine, Docker host or not. And we have seen the different terminologies that are there with Docker, like Docker host, Docker client, Docker image, Docker container, Docker registry. In the Docker registry, we have seen the two registries, public Docker registry and the private Docker registries. And we have seen the Docker architecture, how the Docker is architected together, how the components communicate with each other, and what are the things that will be present inside the Docker architecture that we have seen. And we have seen the creation of the Docker Hub account. Okay, how to create that and how to explore, like how to see the different images that is given that are publicly available to us, and how to use that images. We have pulled the images and we have created a container out of that image, and we have seen some of the commands: docker container ls, docker container ls-a, and docker images, and docker pull nginx image name. And we have seen the concept of tags. Actually, tags represents different versions of the same image. Okay, same the different versions of the same docker image. So these are all the things that we have seen today. So if you have any questions, and tomorrow we are going to see some of the uh, commands that we are going to use, and we are going to start with the use cases. How we are see, we have deployed an nginx application today as a container, but how to access that nginx application from the browser, actually how to do port forwarding, how to access the application. Okay, what is -p, what is -P, okay, what is different things that we are going to see as part of tomorrow's class. Please do attend the classes. So that's the thing today, and it's my responsibility to tell you people, go ahead and register for the course soon. The demo classes will be getting completed. Okay, now that's a that's a that's the thing I want to show you. Now if you go to the machine here, once you are one second, once you completed your labs, you go to here and you need to terminate your machines. Actually, you need to terminate your machines, actually, so that that will be it will happen with the less number, less cost, actually. So that's a thing I want to discuss. So any questions anyone has, please? Any questions anyone has? Okay, please ask.
Sir, we
There's
didn't
a
know
question on the chat.
Okay, how to know Linux on which Docker running? Okay, how to know Linux on which Docker is running, like AMD 64, Linux AMD 64, or okay, different architecture you mean to say. Okay, now let me go here. 1 second. Let me close this. Okay, you can find in two ways, actually. One way you can find while creating the EC2 machine. Actually, you can find here also. You can see here Linux, this Ubuntu Linux machine, and the architecture is somewhere here only. Where is that? Where is that? Where is that? 1 second. It's not status, security, not networking, not storage, not tags, not okay. It's will be somewhere here. You can see here AMI location. You can see this is the AMI. This is the name of the AMI. In the name of the AMI, you can see while selecting the name AMD 64. That means this is the AMD 64. Now, if you also, one more way is you can also see here while creating this one, you can see architecture. This is 64-bit AMD or ARM, different architecture that we need to we can create the EC2 machines, the virtual machines with. Actually, this is architecture that we can set, actually. So that's the thing. That's how you need to see. You can see while creating the Amazon machine image also, you can see 64-bit ARM. Okay, that's the architecture, and that's the different things based on your architecture, based on your requirements. You will be selecting the different architecture, x84, this one, and this is the one you can see while selecting the AMI as well. So that's the thing. That's a different things of AWS. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah. Is that clear? Is that clear, please? Is
Can
that?
we know some command as well?
Yeah, we have Linux commands to know the architecture. You need to execute that commands. Let me provide you that. Yeah. Let me show you /etc where it is. 1 second. cd/etc. Sorry, cd/etc. Clear the screen, ls, and OS hyphen release will be there. One second, where is that? And yeah, this is the one, ls hyphen la, and here okay, user lib OS release. Let me cat this. Okay, one second. Let me cat this. Control C. Cat. You can see here, maybe it is not giving. Yeah, pretty name. Name is Ubuntu. Version is 22.04 Jammy, and yeah, it should be here, but it is not there here. Maybe it's an updated thing. I will tell you tomorrow where to find the architecture inside the machine. Actually, as of now, you can also find the architecture while creating the virtual machine. VMs, I mean to say. So there should be here. Actually, previously it is used to be here. Maybe that have removed. They have removed from here as of now. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Any questions anyone has? Is that clear? Is that clear with the today's concepts?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thanks.
So one more thing is we are using the AWS console to manage all these things, right? For the Docker.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can do that individually as well, right? Using Docker installation independently.
Yes,
Or
yes, you can. You can also do the installation of Docker in your local machine, and you can do independently, no problem. You don't need of creating virtual machine. But I suggest to create a virtual machine because Docker is a huge software which can eat a high amount of resources like CPU and RAM of your machine, so that other applications in your local laptop may affect that actually. So that's a reason why I suggest to use the EC2 machines to install Docker.
okay, but the EC2 may be chargeable, right? Or no?
Yeah, you can use the free one. You can use the free tier eligible one. You can see this is the free tier eligible one, and you can use the t2.micro instance, so that you'll be a commander free tier.
Okay.
Yeah, if you use another machine, another types of machines, that is chargeable, as you say. Yes. Okay. Anyone have any questions? Please ask. If not, please put something in chat, and we will meet tomorrow. And soon the demo classes we are going to complete. Please go ahead and register for the course, and that's the responsibility to tell. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Any questions anyone has? Okay. Okay, if no questions, let's meet tomorrow and with the same time. Thanks for joining. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.